When a man treats you like an option, it cuts deep. You start questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong, why he pulled away, why you're sitting there waiting for a message that might never come. That confusion, that emotional weight is real. You feel invisible, like your value didn't matter enough for him to choose you fully. But let me tell you something straight, this is not about your worth. It's about his choices. Some men don't recognize value until it disappears. They get comfortable, they take you for granted, and they assume will always be there. But love is not a game of chasing someone who won't chase you back. If he treated you like an option, now it's his turn to feel what life is like without your presence. That is not revenge, that is self-respect. That is teaching people how to value you by valuing yourself first. Just like Steve Harvey would say, men understand strength, standards, and consequences. When you stop begging for attention and start demanding respect, you shift the entire dynamic. You stop being an option and become a priority, not because you forced it, but because you finally believed you deserved it. You have to understand something powerful. Your worth is not determined by a man's attention, validation, or temporary interest. If he treated you like an option, that speaks to his decision-making, not your value. A woman can be amazing, loyal, and deeply caring, yet still encounter men who fail to recognize what they have. That doesn't mean she is flawed. It means the wrong person is in front of her. Too many women internalize a man's distance as proof that they are not enough, but that is a lie. Men pull away for many reasons: fear of commitment, emotional immaturity, distractions, or simply because they are not ready to invest. It happens. It is life. But your emotional energy should not be spent chasing someone who is showing you through actions that they are not fully in. Relationships are built on mutual investment. If one person is giving everything and the other is giving crumbs, that is not partnership. That is imbalance. And imbalance will always create pain. You deserve someone who chooses you, not someone you must convince. Think about it logically. If a man values you, he will act like it. He will communicate. He will prioritize. He will show consistency. Words without action are empty. Promises without follow-through are meaningless. This is not about punishing anyone or playing games. It is about reality. People value what they have to work for. If something comes too easily, it is often taken for granted. That is human nature. When a man realizes that he can come and go without consequence, he will continue to do so. But when he understands that his absence has consequences, when he sees that life moves forward and you are not waiting, he is forced to evaluate his behavior. That does not guarantee he will change. Some men will not. Some will remain inconsistent. Some will continue to treat relationships casually. And that is information you must use to make decisions. You are not obligated to stay in situations that diminish your emotional well-being. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to demand respect. A strong woman does not beg for attention. She creates a life where she is already fulfilled, so that any relationship becomes an addition, not a necessity. This is the mindset shift. Instead of focusing on why he distanced himself, focus on your response. Are you chasing? Are you overextending? Are you sacrificing your self-respect in hopes of winning his approval? If so, stop. Love should never require you to shrink. Love should never make you feel anxious or invisible. The right relationship brings security, not confusion. It brings effort, not excuses. If a man cannot provide that, then he is not the right man. That is not a judgment. That is truth. Just like Steve Harvey often teaches, men respond to standards. They understand boundaries. They respect women who know what they deserve. When you stop tolerating inconsistency, you send a message: I value myself. I will not settle. That message is powerful. It changes the dynamic. It forces people to decide whether they want to rise to the standard or step aside. And that is exactly what you want: clarity. Uncertainty is exhausting. Wondering where you stand is painful. A relationship should not feel like a guessing game. If he wants you, he will show it. If he does not, you must believe his actions and move accordingly. This is not bitterness. This is wisdom. It is emotional maturity. It is understanding that your happiness matters. You are not here to wait indefinitely for someone to make up their mind. You are here to build a life filled with purpose, joy, and meaningful connections. The right man will see that life and want to be part of it. He will match your effort. He will respect your boundaries. He will treat you as a priority. Until then, Your focus must remain on yourself. Grow, heal, build. Become the best version of you. Because when you do, you will attract the kind of love that aligns with your worth. And that is the kind of love every woman deserves. Men think differently than women, and understanding that difference is the key to emotional clarity and better relationships. It is not about blaming anyone, it is about understanding psychology. A man's desire for space or distance does not automatically mean you are unworthy. Often it means something is happening within. He may be uncertainty, emotional overload, or simply a lack of readiness for commitment. Men process feelings in a different way. Many do not communicate emotions as openly as women do. They may withdraw to think, to figure things out, or sometimes because they are not as invested as you hoped. That does not mean you did something wrong. It means his level of investment is what it is. You cannot force emotional readiness. You cannot demand care from someone who is not prepared to give it. Relationships require two people showing up. If one person disappears, the relationship stops being a partnership. It becomes one-sided, and one-sided relationships create frustration and emotional exhaustion. A man who values you will not leave you guessing. He will communicate. He will make effort. He will show consistency. This is not about perfection. Oh, human is perfect, but about intention. Intentional behavior shows respect. Casual behavior shows disinterest. That is the difference. Men respond to respect and clarity. If he feels pressured, controlled, or constantly questioned, he may pull away. Not because you are wrong, but because men value emotional space. They like to feel capable of making choices without constant emotional demands. This does not mean you should tolerate bad behavior or silence. It means you should observe actions rather than overanalyze words. Words are easy. Actions are truth. If a man says he cares but disappears for weeks, the action speaks louder than the words. If he promises commitment but never follows through, the promise means nothing. Men understand consequences. If there are no consequences for distance or inconsistency, behavior rarely changes. This is human nature, not gender-specific manipulation. Think about workplaces, friendships, or even personal habits. When there is accountability, improvement happens. When there is no accountability, patterns repeat. Relationships are no different. If a man believes he can come and go without consequence, he will. That does not make him evil. It makes him human. But it also means you must decide what you will accept. You deserve emotional stability. You deserve respect. You deserve a relationship where effort is mutual. If that is not happening, you are allowed to step back. You are allowed to prioritize yourself. This is not revenge. This is self-respect. Just like Steve Harvey often teaches, men respect women who respect themselves. That does not mean playing games or pretending to be indifferent. It means valuing your time and emotional energy. It means refusing to chase someone who is not chasing you. It means understanding that love is not desperation. Love is choice. Both people must choose each other. If he is not choosing you, you cannot force it. You can only observe and make decisions. Men also respond to challenge and growth. A relationship where everything is easy and effort-free often loses its spark. That does not justify mistreatment, but it explains human psychology. People appreciate what requires investment. If a man never has to work for your attention, he may take it for granted. If he believes you will always be there regardless of his behavior, he may become complacent. That is why boundaries matter. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines for how you deserve to be treated. A boundary might look like stepping back when someone is inconsistent. It might look like not responding immediately to silence. It might look like focusing on your own life instead of waiting for validation. Boundaries communicate value. They say, I will not accept less than I deserve. Some women fear that boundaries will push a man away. The truth is, the wrong man will be pushed away, and that is good. You do not want to build a future with someone who cannot respect boundaries. The right man will respect them. He will see them as a sign of maturity and self-worth. He will understand that a healthy relationship requires mutual respect. Understanding male psychology also means recognizing that men are not always as emotionally expressive as women. Many men were raised to believe that showing vulnerability is weakness. They may struggle to articulate feelings. They may need time to process emotions. This does not excuse poor behavior, but it helps explain it. A man who is quiet or distant is not always plotting or rejecting you. Sometimes he is simply dealing with life in his own way. However, if distance becomes a pattern and effort disappears, you must pay attention. Patterns reveal truth. A man who consistently avoids commitment or emotional investment is showing you who he is. Believe him. Do not create explanations that excuse bad behavior. Hope is powerful, but reality is clearer. Relationships should enhance your life, not drain it. If you feel anxious, insecure, or constantly questioning your worth, something is wrong. Love should feel safe. It should feel supportive. It should feel like two people walking together, not one person chasing the other. That is the foundation of real connection. When you understand how men think and how relationships function, you gain emotional freedom. You stop personalizing every action. You stop assuming that distance means you are inadequate. You start making decisions based on facts rather than feelings. Facts are simple effort or no effort, consistency or inconsistency, investment or disinterest. Feelings are important, but they should not override reality. If a man wants you, you will know. If you are confused, that is information. Clarity is love. Confusion is not. You deserve clarity. You deserve effort. You deserve respect. Never settle for less. Practical action is what changes everything. Understanding ideas is good, but without steps, nothing shifts. If a man has distanced himself or treated you like an option, your focus must be on what you control. You cannot control his thoughts or choices, but you can control your response. The first practical step is silence. Do not keep reaching out. Do not send extra messages hoping for a reaction. Silence is powerful because it communicates boundaries without drama. It shows that you respect yourself enough not to chase. If he values you, he will notice the absence and make effort. If he does not, that is information. Either way, you gain clarity. The second step is emotional discipline. This is difficult because feelings are strong. You may want to explain yourself, ask questions, or fix things immediately. That is natural. But emotional discipline means waiting before reacting. Give yourself time to think. Do not make decisions in moments of hurt or frustration. Sleep on it. Reflect. Ask yourself whether you are responding to reality or temporary emotions. Decisions made in calmness are better than decisions made in panic. The third step is focusing on your life. This is where many women struggle because attention shifts to the relationship problem. They replay conversations in their minds, analyze every message, and hope for answers. That mental energy keeps you stuck. Instead, redirect it. Invest in your goals. Spend time with friends and family. Work on personal growth. Learn something new. Exercise. Build routines that strengthen you. A woman who builds her life becomes attractive not because she is trying to impress anyone, but because she radiates confidence and purpose. Men notice women who are fulfilled. They respect women who are not desperate for validation. The fourth step is setting boundaries. If he returns, do not act as if nothing happened. Boundaries are not punishment, they are guidelines for how you expect to be treated. You can be polite and open to conversation, but you should also observe behavior. Does he show consistency? Does he communicate? Does he make effort? If the same patterns repeat, you must decide whether you are willing to accept them. Boundaries protect your emotional well-being. They teach others how to treat you. If there are no boundaries, behavior often becomes careless. The fifth step is understanding that not every relationship is meant to last. This is hard to accept because emotions create attachment. But attachment does not guarantee compatibility. Some relationships are lessons. They teach you about yourself, about what you need, and about what you will not tolerate. That does not make them failures. Growth is valuable. You become wiser. You learn what you deserve. You learn to recognize red flags early. That knowledge prepares you for healthier connections in the future. Practical advice also means avoiding comparison. Social media often shows highlight reels of relationship-shappy pictures and perfect moments. It does not show struggles or private challenges. Comparing your situation to curated images is unfair and damaging. Every relationship is different. Every person's journey is different. Focus on your reality, not someone else's appearance. Another important action is communication when appropriate. If there is genuine confusion or unresolved issues, healthy communication matters. But communication is different from begging. Healthy communication involves respect and mutual effort. If the other person refuses to engage, you cannot force dialogue. At that point, silence and boundaries become the response. Practical action also means self-respect. Do not settle for treatment that diminishes you. If someone repeatedly ignores you, lies, or shows disrespect, you are not obligated to stay. Love should not hurt. It should not require you to sacrifice your dignity. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. You are the foundation of your life. If you neglect yourself, everything else suffers. Finally, understand that healing takes time. If you have been hurt, do not rush recovery. Emotional wounds require care. Be patient with yourself. Some days will feel easier than others. That is normal. Progress is not always linear. The important thing is moving forward, even slowly. Practical steps create momentum. Silence creates space. Boundaries create respect. Self-focus creates growth. These actions are within your control. They do not guarantee that a specific person will return or change, but they guarantee that you will grow stronger. You will become someone who values herself. That is the greatest foundation for future relationships. When you respect yourself, you attract people who respect you. When you prioritize your well-being, you create a life that does not depend on someone else's validation. That is freedom. That is power. And that is the key to emotional strength and healthy love. Love and self-worth are connected in ways many people do not fully understand. A strong emotional closing is not about convincing someone to come back or proving a point. It is about reminding yourself of your value and choosing a path that honors your emotional well-being. If a man treated you like an option, that does not define your worth. It defines his choices. You are still deserving of love, respect, and commitment. The difference is that you must now decide what kind of love you will accept. Real love does not require constant uncertainty. It does not make you question your place. It does not demand that you chase validation. Real love is stable. It is consistent. It is built on mutual effort. If that is missing, you are allowed to step away. You are allowed to prioritize yourself. This is not weakness. It is strength. Many women believe that staying and fighting for someone proves loyalty. Loyalty is valuable, but it must be mutual. One-sided loyalty becomes sacrifice. And sacrifice in relationships should never mean sacrificing your dignity or emotional peace. You deserve to be with someone who chooses you without hesitation, not someone you must convince. That is the foundation of security. Without security, relationships become emotional roller coaster moments of happiness, followed by periods of doubt. Over time, that instability takes a toll. It drains confidence. It creates anxiety. It makes you question whether you are enough. You are enough. The problem is not your worth. The problem is alignment. Not every connection is meant to last, and that is okay. Some relationships teach lessons. They show you what you need and what you will not tolerate. They help you grow. Growth is valuable. It prepares you for healthier relationships in the future. If you experience pain, do not rush to dismiss it. Feel it, process it, and then move forward. Healing is a journey. It requires patience. There will be good days and difficult days. That is normal. What matters is progress, not perfection. Each step forward matters. Each decision to prioritize yourself matters. You are not defined by what happened. You are defined by how you respond. Choose to respond with strength. Choose to respond with self-respect. Choose to believe that better opportunities exist. They do. The right person will value you. The right relationship will feel different, safe, consistent, and genuine. You will not have to question it. You will not have to fight for basic respect. Until that happens, focus on yourself. Build a life that makes you proud. Pursue goals that excite you. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Happiness should not depend on one person. It should come from within and from meaningful connections that enhance your life. When you build that foundation, you become emotionally resilient. You stop seeking validation from situations that do not serve you. You start attracting relationships that align with your standards. That is the power of self-worth. It changes everything. Love becomes a choice rather than a necessity. You no longer feel desperate for approval because you already approve of yourself. That is freedom. And freedom is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. A strong woman does not wait for someone to define her value. She defines it herself. She knows that her kindness, intelligence, and heart are gifts, not bargaining chips. She offers them to people who appreciate them. If someone does not, she moves forward. That is not coldness. It is wisdom. It is understanding that life is too short to stay in situations that diminish your joy. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve love that feels real. Never settle for less. If you are hurting, give yourself time. Healing does not happen overnight, but it does happen. With patience and self-care, wounds become lessons and lessons become strength. You will look back one day and realize that what hurt you also shaped you. It made you wiser. It made you clearer about what you want. That is growth, and growth is beautiful. So end this moment with a commitment to yourself. Not a promise to forget, but a promise to move forward. Not a decision to close your heart, but a decision to protect it. You are valuable. You matter. Your happiness matters. The right love will come, but until then, love yourself. That is the foundation of everything. That is how you win in life and in relationships. Not by chasing, but by becoming the best version of yourself. Not by waiting, but by building a life that feels complete. When you do that, everything changes. You change. And when you change, your world changes too.